Like an animal. Yeah, no, you don't. Like an animal. Like a diseased animal. You animal. How dare you do that to a defenseless woman? You put down like a dog.
With a baton 30 times, and now you got to protect us, Officer Bagshot. Look at that. Pardoned by Donald Trump, they made you look like a jack, didn't you? Yeah, idiot. You can't say. Oh, sorry. Look at this right there. Beat Victoria White in the face.
So when Republicans, especially the MAGA cult, tell you that they respect law enforcement, just know that they only mean it when they're on their side. Case in point.
Mr. Cole told investigators he was in D.C. because he was going to protest in support of Donald Trump. He told the FBI that he believed the narrative that Trump had spread, and if the election was indeed tampered with, quote, someone needs to speak up, right? Well, like the thousands of Trump supporters who stormed the Capitol on January 6th, Mr. Cole did something more than just speak up. He set what the FBI concluded were viable explosive devices on Capitol Hill, mere feet away from where thousands of people live and work and drop their kids off at daycare. It is only due to the heroic actions of the Capitol Police and a watchful bystander that these devices were discovered and disarmed. Make no mistake, Mr. Cole's political goals appear to have been no different than those of the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and hundreds of cop beaters and rioters who stormed the Capitol, to foment violence on that day, to terrorize the police, but most of all, to stop the steal and overturn the election that was certified in the United States of America. Trump granted a, quote, a full, complete, and unconditional pardon to all individuals convicted of offenses related to events that occurred at or near the United States Capitol on January 6, 2021.
Pardons and commutations relating to events that occurred on January 6, 2021.
Okay, and how many people is this?
I think this order will apply to approximately 1,500 people, sir.
So this is January 6th. These are the hostages. Approximately 1,500 for a pardon.
Yes.
Full pardon.
Full pardon or commutation?
Full pardon.
Mr. Cole's convicted. Would he be covered by this unprecedented corrupt pardon offered by Donald Trump, who incited the insurrection against the Union? Well, Mr. Cole's lawyer definitely seems to think so. President Trump and his DOJ have already attempted to legitimize violence against the police on that day. Is it their position that the pardon extends to Mr. Cole as someone who was involved in the events that occurred near the Capitol? Or is it their position that it's okay to beat police officers with Confederate battle flags, Donald Trump flags, American flags, tase them, haze them, vilify them, demonize them, taunt them, trample them, kick them, and punch them, but they draw the line at planting an explosive device? I'd be very interested to know the answer to that.
The main focus of this Judiciary Committee hearing was to scrutinize the conspiracy theories surrounding the January 6th pipe bomber. But Jamie Raskin just hit on a much bigger issue. We aren't just talking about a few pardons. We're talking about a total transformation of the pardon power into a pay-to-play loyalty test that is only getting worse.
And I want to ask you, first of all, well, generally, what you thought about the validity and legitimacy of those pardons generally being reserved for people who show contrition and remorse and who have been reformed and rehabilitated and no longer are a danger to society. But secondly, I wonder if you would opine as to whether or not Donald Trump's pardon extends to Mr. Cole if he is indeed convicted, as his lawyer is asserting. You turn your mic on.
Thank you. I thought the pardons of the January 6th defendants were tremendously ill-advised. These were people who had been convicted after trial or after guilty plea. Many of them, as we saw, remained proud of their conduct throughout the pendency of their case, remained proud of their conduct at sentencing. They certainly, as a group of people, broadly, did not show remorse. And I think we can see that in the way that they have celebrated the pardons and tried to lie about what happened on January 6th. As for Mr. Cole, it's unfortunately an open question whether the pardon applies to him. I don't know that there's a clear yes or no, and I think that's a problem. Certainly a pardon that was not rushed through on day one in the way that this was could have been more targeted and could have not raised the sort of issues that are raised by this question.
Well, the Department of Justice under Pam Bondi has actually advanced a very robust understanding of the scope of the pardon. Has the DOJ not? Isn't she taking the position it's even applied to other criminal offenses unrelated to January 6th if there was evidence that was assembled from the defendants after their January 6th arrests? That's
true. For instance, when a home is searched and evidence of another crime is developed during the execution of that search warrant, the Department of Justice has taken that position.
So one might expect that she could take a similarly robust interpretation of the pardon with respect to Mr. Cole.
So this is where it stops being about the law and starts being about raw power. The Trump administration is transforming a constitutional safety valve into a blatant influence peddling scheme. It establishes a bone-chilling precedent. Criminality is ignored as long as you have the right connections or deep enough pockets.
Is there any case in your mind that you prosecuted or you oversaw which stands out in your mind as a particularly troubling one from the standpoint of public safety?
Absolutely. The one that stands out in my mind is the case of Daniel Ball, who fought with officers at the Lower West Terrace Tunnel, the site of some of the worst violence that day, and then threw an explosive into the tunnel. He threw an explosive in, injuring officers, causing some to lose hearing. There's no world in which a person who uses an explosive device against police in close quarters should be pardoned.
Well, and to be clear, did President Trump investigate his file and determine that he had shown repentance and remorse, that he would no longer be a danger to the public?
I don't see how he could have, given when the pardons came out.
I mean, it came out on the first day, and it was en masse. It was everybody, the most serious criminals who leveled the most egregious violence against police officers, and those people who were just mere trespassers, who just went in and maybe damaged some property or something else like that. All of them were swept in together, all of them treated exactly the same way. Well, what do you think in general the meaning of those pardons are going to be for American public safety and government going forward?
I think the pardons are damaging to public safety. The pardons are damaging to confidence in the rule of law and in the ability of the Justice Department to fight crime. And I think that some of the rioters have received the message that violence done on behalf of the president or in support of his administration is permitted and encouraged.
So this is the most harmful part. These blanket pardons effectively legalize and legitimize vigilante violence. When the president signals that you can break the law in his name with zero consequences, he isn't just pardoning people, he is deputizing a movement. The message is clear. Be loyal enough to MAGA and the law does not apply to you.
I want to talk because like the conspiracy theories are driving me insane. And maybe it is because I'm used to the law just being the law and practicing and getting into a courtroom, and maybe it's because I've been there. But I am so confused about how they're like, oh, these poor little people, they did nothing wrong, and that's why the president let them all out of prison. Let's talk about the process, okay? Because you can say that an investigation has been flawed, and Lord knows, as a criminal defense attorney, it was my job to make sure that I dug into every single flaw, because I can tell you in almost every single prosecution that I've had to go up against, the only thing I was looking at is how much did you mess up so that I could represent my client well, right? But it didn't mean that I would get them off. So I'm trying to figure out, did these people, over 1,000 people, get convicted of something that they did in a criminal way on January 6th, yes or no?
Yes.
Okay, so then you come back and they were convicted by what, a jury, some of them?
Mostly juries, some judges.
And some people actually did what we call a plea bargain, correct?
Correct.
Meaning that they walked in and they said, I am guilty, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so the final point that I'll make, because I know I'm running out of time, is there was some stuff about white supremacists and the concerns about people being alleged to be white supremacists. Some of the people that got convicted were neo-Nazis. Have they been clarified as white supremacists or not?
Yes.
Some of the people were Proud Boys. Have they been declared as white supremacists or not?
I believe so.
Okay, and then the Confederate flag, has that sometimes been associated with white supremacist groups?
I would certainly say it was during the Civil War and since.
Okay, and then there's this sign, I'm not gonna do it, but it looks like the okay sign with the hand gesture. Has that been associated with white supremacy?
Yes.
Okay. And as one of the prosecutors that prosecuted some of these cases, did you not have defendants that you felt like may have been white supremacists based on the investigations?
Yes, in some cases we had evidence explicitly of it.
Thank you so much. I'll yield.
Jasmine Crockett just dismantled the entire law and order narrative by exposing this sheer hypocrisy. This is textbook authoritarianism. He's using the office to shield his foot soldiers and create shadow legal systems outside the reach of his courts. Corruption must be scrutinized, because if a pardon becomes a license for political violence, our democracy is over.